Hello, folks. This is Aaron Anderson coming to you again from Peace, Love, and Hippiness. And tonight I'm going to tell you a story about the Boise, Idaho Sheriff's Department. I think there was also Highway Patrol and Police Department mixed in there too. But anyway, I was coming down from Washington State, going back to San Diego, and for some unknown reason, my GPS rerouted me through Boise, Idaho as a quicker route. I wasn't expecting to go through Boise, Idaho. Usually, I just go from Washington State to Oregon to California, and I just had been celebrating the legalization of marijuana in Washington State, a campaign I had worked on, and stopped off to get some gas in Boise, Idaho. I'd been drinking way too many energy drinks, and it was very, very late at night, and it was probably, I don't know, 25, 30 degrees outside, pretty cold in the middle of winter. That's why I was going to head back down to San Diego. And so I got my gas. I'd gotten a Subway sandwich, which I had eaten before I got back on the road. And I went to go pull out of the gas station parking lot onto a side street, and I didn't turn on my blinker. And normally that's not something you would do anyway, pulling out of a gas station onto a side road. So anyway, as soon as I did that, I got pulled over by a sheriff, and he's like, I rolled down my window, and he's like, any drinking tonight? I was like, no, I don't drink, officer. And he said there was a smell of weed coming from the car, which I was like, he said, is there any marijuana in the car? I was like, I don't know, officer. I've had a bunch of people in this car. They've smoked joints. It's not even my vehicle, which in fact it wasn't. It was my wife, now ex-wife's, father's vehicle, which she smoked tons of joints in. And I'm guessing a bunch of other people did, but I didn't. And I guess there was a smell of weed coming from the vehicle. And anyway, the police officer thought he was onto something. Maybe I guess he would get me on a marijuana DUI or something. And you know, but I hadn't been smoking any weed. I was driving, and it was late at night. I was doing energy drinks to stay awake. And I guess there was a bar right across the street from the gas station, and this cop was probably stationed there so he could, try to get DUIs and people coming from the bar, stalking people. Anyway, I wasn't coming from the bar. I was coming from the gas station and filling up. So then a bunch of other sheriff's cars and highway patrol cars pulled up, and they're like, okay, well, now you're gonna perform a DUI roadside test. And I was beginning to shake at the time because it was like 25, 30 degrees out, and I'd been up all night and probably was pretty dehydrated. And so I did all their roadside tests, and I actually passed it. And these guys were starting to get pretty aggressive, and they said, oh, can we search your car? And I said, no, you do not have permission to search my car. This was an illegal stop in the first place. And so they're calling out. They got the K9 out there, and the officer said, if you do not give us permission to search your car, we are going to slash your tires and rip up the seats, and your car will be destructed. Which I thought was kind of sad, because it wasn't my car, and it had the stripes on it from Master Chief in the Navy. which is a very, very well respected position in the Navy. My ex-wife's dad at the time, he was a retired Master Chief in the Navy of 30 years. He actually wrote the Code of Conduct Manual for the Navy. Very honorable man, but nothing dissuaded these police officers. They were hell-bent on harassing me and illegally searching my vehicle. And so I said, you know what, officer, you can do whatever you want, because it sounds like you're going to search my car anyway, and I don't give you permission. So they got the canine out there, and it sniffed around and gave some sort of sign, I guess. And I was like, I didn't see anything, but so then they put the dog in the car, and the dog found basically less than 2 grams of marijuana in some crack of the seat. And basically they spent a good bit of time harassing me. They're like, okay, so we found the weed. How do you smoke it, Aaron? Where's your pipe? Where's your object to smoke the weed? And I said, I don't know, officer. I'm not smoking weed. I don't have anything to smoke it with. Good luck. And they were just baffled why they couldn't find something that I was smoking the weed with. And then they decided to charge me with concealed weapon for a pocket knife in the door, and a tire beater on the floor somewhere I had picked up at a Love's truck stop, and possession of controlled substance. So I then was having a panic attack by this point, with them being threatening to tear up my vehicle and slash the tires and whatever, and slash the seat cushions. I was having a panic attack and my chest was hurting, and so I told them I needed to go to the hospital. Plus I was dehydrated from drinking too many energy drinks, and they took me to some ER in Boise, Idaho, and I was handcuffed to the hospital bed. And this is when 5 sheriffs, one on each limb, and then one choking me out around the neck. And I still have the audio recordings of all this. The officer was choking me out to where I couldn't breathe, while the doctor was stabbing me in the arm with a needle, trying to draw my blood to prove that I was going to have a marijuana DUI. However, I would not hold still enough for 5 sheriffs to hold me down and choke me out for this doctor to draw my blood, which is violating my rights extremely, because police officers, sheriffs cannot hold you down and in coercion with the hospital doctor to steal my blood. I did not give them permission to take my blood. I did not sign any paperwork. However, I guess the sheriff figured this guy's willing to die here on the table. He was choking me out and to where I couldn't breathe for 2 grams of marijuana. So anyway, they finally took me to jail after they saw they couldn't get me to cooperate, because I'm not going to give them evidence. Marijuana stays in your system for a month after you take it. There was no way to prove that I had or hadn't been smoking marijuana, which I hadn't been. I was trying to stay awake. I was drinking energy drinks, and I had no way to smoke the marijuana anyway. So anyway, these cops tried their best, but they illegally searched and seized my vehicle, and they were also illegally trying to steal my blood, and they violated my human rights by choking me out and coercing with the doctor. So that was quite a traumatic experience, almost being killed by these sheriffs. I still have the recordings to this day. Thanks for listening. Please submit your own videos.